Okay, so we do now have a quorum. And Mr. Manzi, if you can push us forward.
Yes, we are live, Mayor.
Okay, thank you all. I'd like to call to order the Monday, November 16th meeting of the Traffic Authority. We have a quorum. We have Commissioner Stradidi and Mayor Rilling. It is my understanding that Commissioner Collier-Clemens will be joining us shortly. So we can start the meeting with public participation. Mr. Manzi, do we have anybody that has indicated a desire to address the Traffic Authority?
If you'd like to address the Traffic Authority, please raise your hand electronically. We just have one person from the press. So I don't think we have anyone looking to speak at this time, Mayor.
Okay, that is fine. So the next item is the approval of the minutes of the Traffic Authority meeting of Monday, October 19th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes.
Commissioner Stradidi moves. Are there any changes, additions, deletions? Seeing none, all in favor of the meetings of the minutes as submitted? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 2, approve the installation of a no parking restriction in front of 41 High Street. Who's going to handle that for the department?
I will take care of it, Mayor. So this request came up, and then we had a site visit, a couple of times site visit to figure out that what's the core of this issue. And as a matter of fact, I saw it, and finally we stopped by with our traffic supervisor, Amy Tabor, and then we met the requester. So they have this, business on High Street that needs some, the big tractor trailer, like 10-wheelers, that they have to go inside and come outside for the delivery. So when they want to get out of the driveway of the 42 High Street, they cannot go left. And so what they do, as if you look at the picture, they use the front driveway, which is belong to the 41 High Street, to be able to just go inside of that driveway and back up and then get back to the street. So the 41 High Street belonged to kind of his brother or his cousin. So pretty much all of these properties around this area, they're all related to each other. So we helped other businesses and other part of the town before, and I'm recommending to help this business as well to be able to get out of his driveway safe and sound and not conflicting with others. As a matter of fact, we send a letter to the residents around these properties, and I got a phone call, as a matter of fact, from the 41 owner, and then he said that he's okay with this decision, and pretty much that's it. If you have any questions, I can answer.
All right, I think this came before us before, right? We are concerned about notifying the areas. Okay. Need a motion to move this? You're muted, Commissioner.
I'll move the item.
Okay, any discussion?
No, it sounds like a good idea to me.
Okay, and Chief or the department, any concerns? Okay, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is 10 Norden Place.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. We've been discussing this at the last couple Traffic Authority meetings of what the Traffic Authority's positions can be on this issue, and I have Darren Callahan from the Law Department. If you have any questions for him regarding it, he's available to answer them. Basically, I think we need to look at safety issues, and we've been reviewing those traffic reports along with the P&Z on-call consultant, and for safety concerns, and that's basically where we have it left off. So I don't know if you have any other questions or.
Well, let's, if we can move the item for discussion.
Move the item for discussion.
Okay, thank you. My concern was this was coming before the traffic authority when there is no on-street parking issues, no traffic changing requirements or anything of that nature. And I was more concerned, Mr. Callahan, was how or what authority, first of all, what's the question coming before us? And number two, what is our authority in regards to that question? So, Mr. Yosak, what is the question coming before the authority relative to 10 Northern Place?
Basically, it was coming from the public if there was any input that the traffic authority can have on it. We only saw the possibility of looking at safety issues, and we did not find any either through our review or through our consultant's review. So we don't see anything for the traffic authority to comment on. I don't know if you want to elaborate on anything else on that, Darren, or?
Sure. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Good afternoon, Mayor. I spoke with Mr. Yosak a few weeks ago regarding this matter. My understanding is there's going to be potentially a high volume of multi-axle traffic, truck traffic on this road that did not exist prior to the pending application for Northern Place. And the question that I understood to be the case is to what extent does the traffic authority have the ability to regulate that traffic flow? I took a look at the Connecticut general statutes. They're at section 14-289, and it goes through I believe 312. I also took a look at the ordinance. We have a parallel ordinance for the traffic authority that's at chapter 98-1 through 9844 of the Code of the City of Norwalk. The ordinance provision provides the powers that are in the statute. So really, for purposes of the conversation, the question is what's provided in the statutes. In taking a look at it, there's really no jurisdiction. The statute, this enabling act, doesn't provide the traffic authority with jurisdiction to regulate in this manner. If you take a look at the various provisions, it talks in terms of putting in traffic control signals, markings and signs, stop signs, crosswalks, things of that nature. And then it gets into very specifics regarding how you would regulate in that domain. The vast majority of the regulation also requires either the approval or the interaction of the state acting through, I believe it's Traffic Authority Division under Department of Public Works. So it's fair, our jurisdiction for this authority is fairly limited, and I don't think there's really the ability to provide any substantive regulation, from what I understand to be the posed question. If there's hopefully that answers the question. If there's any additional questions, I'm happy to answer.
Mr. Yosak, if you would remind me, the reason this appeared on the agenda in the first place and started raising these issues?
What happened is about 2 or 3 meetings ago, we were asked to concur with Condot's request that this project had no substantial impact on state highways. So that kind of started the ball, and then the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association asked us to look into it further because of the impacts that it might have on Strawberry Hill with the additional trucks, which were almost 300 trucks a day, with the three schools and the bike routes there. So that's kind of what triggered the look at this, the safety concerns and what that truck traffic may impact the schools and students there.
If I, well, the concern that I had also was the fact that as the mayor, I am not legally able to opine on zoning permit applications. So I was concerned about the duality of the traffic authority getting involved in this, and also how that would reflect on the fact that being the mayor, if I opined that this was not a good, that we would be against the application, that would be something that I would not be able to do as mayor. Am I correct, Mr. Callahan?
Oh, absolutely, Mayor. Absolutely, 100%. That's correct. So if that was a question, I apologize. No, that's absolutely 100%.
No, that's all part of it. I just wondered if we even did have any authority. Now, the other question I have, because I believed that as the traffic authority, you just mentioned about traffic lights and signs, et cetera. We could place regulations on the streets up and to approaching this site if we felt that there was any significant danger or problems with the traffic that is going to be generated.
Yes, making sure my volume was on. Yeah, I mean, to the extent there's a change in volume in traffic, and that creates safety issues where the city can relate as a traffic authority. Oh, excuse me, not relate, regulate as a traffic authority. You know, I think the answer is yes, but those are very specific powers that are granted or enumerated in the statute. You know, again, crosswalks is specifically enumerated, control signals or traffic lights certainly would be within the domain, acting in concert with the state's traffic authority to install. There's other markings that I'm sure Mr. Yosek could you know, might suggest as far as what would be appropriate on this particular road to regulate traffic. But beyond the specific enumerated powers, they're fairly limited.
If I could, Mr. Callahan, ask you to draft a memo to the initial question relative to the traffic authority's authority regarding the traffic study by Condot.
Of course.
Mr. Yosek can kind of give you more information as to what the actual question is relative to that. Commissioner Sternidi, do you have any questions?
My pleasure, Mayor.
No, given the response that we just heard from Mr. Callahan, I'd rather err on the side of caution and not comment. He answered the questions that we had that we've been talking about the past couple months when this has come up, so.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Appreciate it. Unless there's any questions, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. Approve the temporary closure of East Avenue between Fort Point Street and Winfield Street for work on the advanced utility phase of the Walk Bridge project as detailed in the road closure plan prepared by the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Can we have a motion to move that for discussion?
I'll make a motion to move the item for discussion.
Okay, so we're moving that for discussion. Who's going to handle that from staff?
Mayor, this was on the agenda predicate. Their meeting with the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association last Thursday, I believe, which got canceled because of a technical glitch. So they didn't have that discussion. So they would like to withdraw this till next month.
Okay, so motion. Okay, so we need a motion to table. Mr. Needy, if you would make that.
Sure, I'll make a motion to table the item for till next month. Mike, you want us to come back next month with it?
That's my understanding right now.
Next month.
Okay, a motion to table is not debatable. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is to item number 5, concur with Connecticut administrative decision to Colonial Village expansion. Mr. Needy, would you make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to move the item.
Okay, and who's going to handle that from staff?
I will take that, Mayor. This is a letter from Condot Osta, again, with the whether we concur with their findings of no significant impact for the expansion of Colonial Village that we've been looking at the previous meetings. We reviewed it. We don't see any impacts on the state highway system.
Well, what is the difference between this and the Norden place? If we don't have authority to opine on the Norden place, why do we have authority here? What's the difference?
Well, I don't think it's a question of authority, but looking at it, that we didn't find any significant traffic impacts similar to what we did for 10 Norden Place. I think the issue we were looking at 10 Norden Place was a little bit different with the volume of trucks. This is just basically the parking lot there and the number of cars, I think was.
Well, if we don't have authority or standing, I don't know why these would come before the authority. Callahan, do you have? I mean, we can't say we disagree, apparently.
Was this item added in error? Because we had a similar item come before us about removing some places out, some parking spaces outside. So I wonder if maybe the wrong item got added?
No. Basically, those were removing parking spaces. This is their application to the State Traffic Commission, and the item as it reads on there is written confirmation from the local traffic authority indicating concurrence with the assessment of no substantial impact to the state highway system, contingent on the department's agreement with said assessment must be provided. So we're being asked by the state of Connecticut to comment on this.
I think the way it works is just we're not recommending. We're just saying that it, based on our review, it's not any. It doesn't create any issue, as far as traffic. I mean, we are, kind of okay with whatever they decide. I mean, that was something that we have done before.
Yes,
Okay, but the question is, how is this different than us being asked to comment on the Norden place?
Pretty much the same. It's in the.
Yeah, I think what the state is asking us is to let them know whether we disagree with their analysis. That might, if we did, they may give further consideration and they may invoke their authority to act within the traffic control statutes, like, for example, installing a street light or a stop sign at a certain location, or maybe lowering the traffic speed limit or something along those lines. However, I don't think they have the authority any more than we would have the authority on this particular road to, say, eliminate truck traffic.
I guess I'm just kind of confused, and I might be missing something. We were asked to review the ConDOT traffic study for 10 Norton Place, and it was determined that we don't have standing in regards to the application for 10 Norton Place to not agree with it or something. Now we're being asked for the same question, but for a different development.
I'm sorry, Mayor. I may have misunderstood what the initial question is when I had my preliminary conversations with Mr. Yosek. I had understood the question as to what extent could the traffic authority, potentially regulate specifically truck traffic on that road or something along those lines. And that sort of regulation doesn't fall within the traffic authority's jurisdiction. What would fall within the traffic authority's jurisdiction would be things like an appropriate place to put a traffic signal light or a stop sign or a crosswalk for public safety reasons, or similar signage. If there, for example, if a section of the road had a significant incline or decline, one of those, this signals, the traffic signs that, alert you that there's a significant incline or decline in the road, or a fast curve, or something along those lines.
All right, so let me ask one more question and try to clarify this. This is the Connecticut Department of Transportation study. And are we talking about impact simply on Connecticut highways?
Yeah, that is a slight difference there, Mayor. This is the impact of this project on the state highway system, not the city roadway system, which is kind of what we were looking at.
For the 10 Norton Place?
Well, 10 Norton Place, we were looking more at the Strawberry Hill, which is a city road, the city road network.
But who did that traffic study?
Both these studies were done by consultants for the developers. They are then given to the state traffic commission to review, and then the state traffic commission comes back to the city requesting for our concurrence or our differences with their opinions on what they find. So the state is looking at it just on the state roadway system, not necessarily the city roadway system. And that's kind of the difference between 10 Norton Place and the Colonial Village application, is that both of them were originally asking for the impacts on the state highway system. And we were trying to see if there was an impact on a local road system, because 10 Norton Place impacts a lot of city streets and not necessarily the state highway system.
I'm still not seeing a difference between the two. And it seems to me that it's more of a zoning function. In the limited time that I sat on zoning, I remember we had, on certain cases, we had independent parties come in and do traffic studies and things like that, so that we knew that we were getting varied information and everything. So it seems to me that this is more of something that falls under that purview than us.
Yeah.
And
I think you're right, Commissioner Straniti, that this is more a courtesy review, I think, for a city agency's opinion on a project that they may need to look at it further in depth.
I mean, state usually, sorry, I mean, usually a statement. They are, so they're in city of Norwalk. So once they want to make any decision that it will impact any of our routes, so definitely they will talk to us. And this is not just for Northern Place. If even they want to replace any traffic signal, they get back to us that, what you guys need. Well, we're going to replace this. Is what are the standards, for the city. And then we just say our recommendation. These are the one that we use for other signal. I think this is exactly the same as well. They're just asking us that if, we are okay with these changes based on our experience. And as you said, they're all the same.
Did we get a copy of the traffic study?
Yes, it should be in your package for Colonial. Yeah.
The whole traffic study?
Yes, it's for that.
Okay. All right. And what is the time frame for reviewing that?
I'm not sure it was actually on the request when they're looking at it. I don't have that date, Mayor.
Did we get a copy of the traffic study for the Norden Place?
We did get that as well, yes.
No, the commission I'm talking about. Or the authority.
I believe it was in one of the previous packages. I would have to reconfirm that. But
Okay. Again, I'm just having an issue as to what the difference between the two are. Right.
Mayor, if I could just get maybe clarification on what the specific regulation the traffic authority would like to consider on Strawberry Hill, that may allow me to better answer the question.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Yosick?
On Strawberry Hill.
In other words, is the question of whether we can put a signal light in somewhere or along Strawberry Hill, which I can answer, affirmatively. The answer is yes. It may require an application to be made to the traffic authority division under DOT, or is it a different type of regulation? And then I'd have to search the statutes to see if there is a specific grant of authority to regulate in that manner.
No, I think our issue with Strawberry Hill was more so, was there any safety issues posed to the bicyclist or pedestrians on the street by the additional 300 vehicles on that, 300 trucks on that street? And we couldn't really find anything, so it would be more like I guess you would consider it more a quality of life issue, which would be under the preview of planning and zoning rather than the traffic authority, because it's not as safety related.
Oh, so it would seem to me that if there isn't the foundation to undertake the predicate foundation undertake one of the powers under the traffic authority statutes, for example, installing a stop sign at a particular location, then you really don't get to the next step of whether you have the power to, as this authority, to say we're going to put a stop sign there. I can tell you if it was a stop sign, the answer would be yes. The authority has that power. But I think there would be an initial inquiry as into the appropriateness of putting a stop sign there.
Yeah, that was our opinion as well, Darren.
Now, if the question is something, other than signage or street lights, which is really the areas in which the traffic authority has jurisdiction, and I may be missing a few, I could look deeper into that, but I need to know the manner in which the traffic authority is looking to regulate traffic on this particular road. I can tell you it's very limited, though.
I just still don't see what the difference is and that we have any really authority to opine on this, on the Colonial Village project. And if, I mean, what are they looking for? Yes or no answer? Yes, we agree. No, we don't. What if we don't? Then what? Are they looking for suggestions and recommendations from us, or I'm just not seeing that it really belongs with us?
I agree with you, Commissioner. I don't see how this body would be making recommendations to planning and zoning on these issues. It's the sole question regarding this particular body is whether it's appropriate to regulate within the confines of those statutes outside of the context of what other commissions are doing. If that answers the question.
It seems to me the appropriate thing is probably to go back to the state and say that we aren't the governing body to give the input that they're looking for, and maybe make the recommendation to them for the correct body, which I believe would be zoning, and suggest that they go there. I don't know, that's just my take on it.
That's a fair point. I think this body does have, and I want to distinguish. It's appropriate for this body to provide the Department of Transportation with information that may be relevant to their decisions regarding how to exercise the jurisdiction under the state statutes. The extent to which they can exercise that jurisdiction would then be limited by what's in the state statutes. So I know that sounds kind of like a strange answer, but they're looking for the city's input on impacts on the city regarding their analysis of traffic on state roads within the city. That's a little different than the exercising a particular power to say we're going to say a street light goes here, or a stop light goes there, or a stop sign goes there, or say only foot traffic is no longer are we going to allow vehicular traffic on this road anymore. It's only going to be bicycle or pedestrian traffic, or we're no longer going to allow four-wheel traffic, cars on this road. It would only be for trucks, which is not a power that's enumerated within the traffic authority statutes.
I think let me take one more stab at this. If you as a traffic authority knew that pulling out of a certain place, there were 20 accidents there over the last year or 2 years, and that it wasn't a good thing to do that project here, and ConnDOT missed that, then I think that's the kind of input they're probably looking for from the traffic authority, that there was a big safety concern there or an issue like that, and that's when they would take the opinion.
So again, basically for this particular request, we're being asked to concur with a traffic study that shows this development at Colonial Village will have no significant impact on the state highway system. Nothing to do with local roads.
That's correct.
Because I notice in the study, it starts talking about traffic in, traffic out. And I'm not sure I could concur with the fact that there would be no impact on local roads.
Right, on Scribner or something like that, yes.
Yeah, and I could not concur that there would be no significant impact on local roads from the 10 Norton place. But if this particular, we've already tabled the other item, but if this particular, or no, we've tabled the East Avenue. If this particular request is simply saying that there's no significant impact on the state highway system based on the Colonial Village expansion. That's the only question that we're being asked.
That's correct.
And the study conducted by who? Malone and McBroom?
Malone and Broom, yes.
They're saying that there is no impact on the state highway system.
Correct.
I think
I
we
find
can-
that hard to believe. I'm sorry. We're talking about 69 additional units, and that's a very busy intersection. So, you know, here we are getting into like, what do they really want to hear? Do they want somebody to just nod their head and say, okay, sure. Like, I mean, that, we all know where that is, and going out onto Scribner and across Connecticut Avenue and on a 95. I mean, I don't see how it could not have an impact. That's why I really don't think they want the input from us.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the word there is substantial impact. So,
well, that's one of those very vague definitions.
correct.
What is significant? What is substantial? What is minor? What's a minor change to a zoning application versus a major change? That's very, very subjective.
yeah, and it's a stressed traffic area. And, you know, over the years, there's been changes to the traffic pattern there with the additions of the stop signs and everything. So I mean, I don't know that this wouldn't have significant impact.
Mr. Yosak, what is the time frame for which this body should respond? Because I know that project isn't probably going to start.
I mean, if you want to, there was no deadline on the application. So, I mean, if you want to table it for another meeting, I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, I think we need to do that. And then we can use Mr. Callahan's letter of legal opinion relative to our position or to our authority in these issues here. So, Mr. Needy, if you would make a motion to table this until the next meeting.
Sure, I'll make a motion to table this item to the next meeting.
Okay, and a motion to table is not debatable. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So, yeah, Mr. Callahan, if you can just give us that information. I get it, what this is trying to do, but I guess it's part of the state of Connecticut process.
Yeah, Mayor, I think there were some nuances that you highlighted during this call that I didn't understand prior to the call and haven't analyzed in the level of detail necessary. So, you know, I will put together an opinion as you requested, getting a little bit more down into the granular aspect of this.
Okay. Yeah, and it's just for future reference, because we haven't gotten a lot of these requests in the past. And so we want to make sure that we know exactly what we're voting on and what the implications and impact are.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, thank you. Let's see what's the next item on the agenda. Hold on one second. Approval of the 2021 meeting schedule. Can I get a motion for?
I'll move the item, the schedule to discuss.
Any further any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now we have discussion items. We have the request of the three-way stop at Maxwell and Barbara. Who will take that?
I can take that, Mayor.
Go ahead.
As per the request to through customer service, and we looked at the location of Maxwell Drive and Barber Drive for a three-way stop sign. There have been no accidents there. The sight lines are good, and we don't really see a need for a three-way stop sign at that intersection. So we just want to bring it to your attention.
Okay, that came in from one resident.
Yes, and I think you were copied on that.
Okay. Next item is request for traffic calming on Buford.
Yeah.
You want to do that, Fred, or?
Yeah, that's fine. So we have about 16 residents requested. We're trying to do some traffic study over there, put the counter over there to figure out the volume and also the speed, and go from there, basically.
Okay, so you're going to come back to us.
Exactly.
Okay. Next item is a caution arrow for 272 Phyllis Street.
Yes, there's a pretty bad turn in the road there. There was a accident there recently. We have a request from several of the people located in that area to put up an arrow sign. We've met with them. We've located the locations for the arrows, so we would like to put that up in the next couple of days. If the authority is okay with that. I think
Well, that's not an action item, so we'd have to move it as an action item. As opposed to a discussion item. Please make a note that Commissioner Collier Clemens has joined us at 4:45. Hello, Commissioner.
I think for the arrows, for the caution arrows, I don't think we need the approval.
We don't have to vote on it? You're saying we don't have to vote on that, Mr. Shruggy?
I don't think we need the take motion for this.
It's just advisory, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not advisory, but we haven't used it.
Well, I mean, the sign itself is advisory. It's not a.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. So I'm good with that, Mr. Needy and Ms. Collier Clemens.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay, and the next item on the agenda is the Gregory Avenue 5th Marvin Roundabout pavement markings and signage changes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, we've added some pavement markings on there to clarify the situation that when you're coming down Gregory, you're supposed to yield as you enter that roundabout. So it was brought to our attention. So we've had safety markings, put in some additional markings there last week. So we just want to, as you're driving down to the beach area, if you notice that, that's the reason for that request.
Okay. And just so the other commissioners know, I don't know if you were on copy, we had a request for a roundabout at, was it Strawberry and Fitch?
Fitch, that's correct, yes.
Yeah. And while it may not be possible there, I'm not sure, but we're going to be looking into that. I'd also like to look at any other potential locations because a roundabout is a method of traffic calming and moving traffic more efficiently and smoothly through an area. So, I don't know where we might be able to have some discussion about the possibility of a roundabout, but I know that a lot of people have talked about it. So I've asked Mr. Yosak to kind of take a look at that.
We'll be looking throughout the city for potential locations, Mayor.
Mm-hmm. And the next meeting is Monday, December 21st. So as we close out before the adjournment, I wish everybody a safe and thankful Thanksgiving, and stay safe and stay healthy, and remember the guidelines of having large groups gathering inside. We don't want anybody to become ill and contract the virus, so we'll stay safe. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn at 4:48. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. You'll have to log into the other link for the police commission meeting. Just a reminder.
Okay, because I'm not even sure that that's on my calendar. I don't know why they don't get on my calendar, but, so we have to log out of this one?
Yeah, log out of this. I'll send you the link again.
Please do.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.